Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 28 male, own a 3-bedroom house. 3 weeks ago, my younger brother, 25 male, and his girlfriend, 24 female, moved in with me temporarily, while they saved up to put a deposit on their own place. I agreed to it on the condition that they contribute a bit to the electricity bill and help out with chores. They've been decent about that. The issue is with his girlfriend. She doesn't work. My brother says she has sensory issues and struggles with social anxiety. I didn't press it. I rarely see her at all. She stays in the room, keeps the door closed, and doesn't speak to me when we cross paths. That's fine. I understand how difficult it must be. What's bothering me is that apparently I'm not allowed to make any loud noises around the house, even during the day. For example, Sunday was my day off. I got up around 8 a.m., made coffee, and turned on the TV in the living room at a normal volume. Within 15 minutes, my brother came out and asked if I could turn it off or wear headphones because she's upset. I asked if it was too loud. He said no, just that she needs silence during the day to stay regulated. This has now happened 3 times. Once with the vacuum at noon, once with me taking a work call on speaker, and now this. She doesn't work, doesn't leave the room, doesn't contribute financially, but the entire house has to be in hush mode around the clock. I told my brother this is my house and I shouldn't have to tiptoe around in my own living room. He said I was being insensitive and that she can't help how she is. I get that she has issues. I'm not blasting music at 3 a.m. or throwing parties. I'm just living like a regular person in my own home. I feel like I'm being treated like a guest here. Would I be the a-hole if I called her out on it? Update. I took the advice given and earlier today told my brother he needs to get her noise-cancelling headphones or something because this is her problem, not mine. She is the one who needs to find ways to manage that, not everyone else in the house. Later, I was in the kitchen cooking and she came out screaming at me, full-on cussing, saying I'm triggering and making her feel unsafe. First time she's spoken to me directly since moving in. I told my brother they both need to be out by next week. To my surprise, he didn't argue, just looked tired and said he would handle it. Think he's fed up too. At this point, I don't believe the sensory stuff is real. Feels more like a way to control the space. What a psycho. You're not the a-hole here, OP. Your brother's girlfriend is. I totally understand if she has sensory issues and needs everything to be quiet. But her demanding you to keep things quiet and use headphones to watch TV in your own house is not okay. It is your house. She shouldn't expect you to cater to her to the point where you can't live or even breathe too loudly in your house. And the fact that she came and yelled at you after you suggested your brother get her noise-cancelling headphones just suggests that she's a major a-hole regardless of her issues. I'm glad your brother didn't push things and understood when you told them to leave. You did your best to help them out, not the a-hole. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend that my family will always come before her or our future together? My girlfriend expects me to build a future for us. A little backstory. She's a student right now and works part-time but barely makes enough to pay her rent and school fees. I'm 24 and work a minimum wage plus commission job. I have barely any money saved, so she doesn't understand why I spend so much money and time with family. We've been dating for 3 years with no problems except for this. We love each other and live independent lives, but she worries that I'm too focused on helping my family and making them happy instead of building a future for us. She's working as much as she can to pay her bills, but because she's a student and also doing her required interning, she can't work much more. She doesn't ever ask me for money to help her right now because she wants me to save up. She doesn't have a family like mine, so she doesn't understand. My family is close, and I really want to take care of them. She says that I'm supposed to be worrying about my own future right now. She says that she doesn't understand because my mom recently received about 100K for a settlement and bought a house and a new car, and I shouldn't be worrying about helping when they seem fine. She's angry that I don't take my life seriously. I've been trying to get my real estate license for a few months now, but can't find the time to study because of how demanding my family is. They get really angry or sad when I'm not around for family events, and I understand why. We're a close family. I get where she's coming from, but I can't drop my family. I told her all of this and she got angry, saying that she's not asking me to abandon my family. She just wants to make sure we have a solid foundation before we worry about helping my family. And I can't build a future if I'm always with them. She expects me to start saving up money for a down payment on a house while she finishes and gets a degree, and can start helping as well, but I keep telling her my family needs me first. We had a particularly heated fight, the worst we've ever had last night, and she said she feels like I will never care enough about my future, and I'm supposed to be building one for myself and her, and she can't be with someone like that. She said if I really feel like helping my family come before my own future, then that is my choice, but she's going to have no choice but to worry about herself from now on and plan a future where she's her only priority, because I make it sound like I don't want her to be part of it. She stopped mentioning anything about it and is now talking about saving up for a 1-bedroom apartment and a car for herself. She lives in a basement. She seems so sad, but I can't help but feel like she's wrong for even asking me to not help my family. I don't know if I'm being an a-hole or not for telling her that my family will always come first. Am I the a-hole for telling her my family and their needs will have to come before her and our future together? You're the a-hole, OP. Your girlfriend is not asking you to abandon or neglect your family. She's asking you to find a balance. I can't believe she has to tell you this. If your family is somehow stopping you from getting a real estate license because of how demanding they are, how can you not see how damaging they are to you and your future? I like how she started planning for her future. It's the smart thing to do. It's obvious that you aren't ready to do anything with your life because your family needs you too much. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. She is setting reasonable expectations. She wants to be able to transition to a purchased home. You are the one making enough money to set aside for this. If your family can't make it on a 100K settlement, you adding in your pittance isn't going to do much. She is, albeit obliquely, asking for you to set boundaries with your family, and that's okay. That's reasonable. Yes, being close is great, but what is not great is codependency, and that's what you appear to have. You're the a-hole. If you're planning a future with your girlfriend, she is going to be your family. She's right. She's not asking you to abandon your family. She's asking you to think rationally about your future and how it might include her. I also don't understand why your family and their needs have to come before her and your future together. It is great that you love your family, but if you're an independent adult, I don't really understand why your family needs your financial help at this stage. You really can't afford to help them and support yourself and potentially a long-term relationship. You're the a-hole. If your family is going to come before any girl you will ever date, then you need to be clear about that upfront, that you aren't willing to be in a serious relationship. You should never, ever get married because you are not willing to be a true partner to someone. You can't commit to a partnership with someone if they will always come second. And wow, you cannot have kids because what your mom thinks about how to raise them will be more important to you than what their own mother thinks. You haven't been clear to this girl that she is never going to be the most important thing to you, and she is figuring it out on her own, and it is crushing her. Story 3. Would I be the a-hole if I tell my girlfriend she needs to bring her own food to my house and pay for the food she has eaten? I want to start off by saying I love my girlfriend and I'm scared that if I give her this rule or expectation, it will make her feel unwelcome at my home. We have been dating for a while now and she's always been courteous in asking to eat or use my stuff. She doesn't eat much, so I always gave her the okay. After she had spent a week at my place, I told her she doesn't have to ask me to eat my food on day 3, since she would always ask before she ate. She doesn't eat much since she's smaller, but I didn't take into account that a handful of granola, a bowl of yogurt, and a banana every day would stack up after a while. She left my place after the stay, and now every time she comes and stays for a period of time, she eats my food. I feel bad for wanting her to start buying her own groceries to keep at my place, since she consistently takes me out for food, buys me clothes, contributes to groceries when we cook, and keeps my weed supply full. I can't comfortably afford to be feeding 1.5 me so often, though since she's here at minimum 2 days a week. She has brought up in the past the fact that she feels like I don't take her out enough, but we have a quiet understanding that she makes more than me since she works 5 to 6 days a week, and I work 3, not by my choice. I feel like she contributes a lot monetarily to the relationship and in terms makes her feel like she contributes more emotionally in the relationship because she's always making sure I'm taken care of and comfortable. I don't know if I should just suck it up because she's not taking much from me, and if I'd be wrong or an a-hole to expect someone who gives so much to give me more. Would I be the a-hole? Edit. Wow, I think making this post was one of the single worst decisions of my life. My girlfriend uses Reddit, and by sheer coincidence found this post, thought, haha, this reminds me of me and Joyce Manor. Saw my username, made the connection and broke up with me. All within 20 minutes of making this post. She thought there were underlying issues in our relationship, and me being a cheap a-hole was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Edit 2. To answer some repeated questions, I made this as a throwaway account. The account name is based on a pretty popular band, Joyce Manor, I like, so I didn't think she would realize it was me. I'm 26 and she's 20. Her name is not Joyce. I don't think she'll come on here to give her side of the story. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole, not even would be. She's buying you expensive food, clothes, and weed, and you're saying that even with her buying these things you would presumably buy anyway. You can't afford a minor amount of granola and bananas. $10 at the store will get you more than a week's supply of that. You're an ingrate. You're the a-hole. She takes you out to eat, buys you weed, clothes, etc., and you can't share some of your food that you say isn't really that much. You're very selfish. You admit you don't contribute or buy her anything because she earns more, which is irrelevant considering you share no bills. And you can't let her have some of your groceries when she supplies her own and yours when she cooks anyways. I hope you recognize how wrong you are here and fix it before it ends up backfiring on you. You're the a-hole. You admit to yourself that she keeps your weed supply full, takes you out and overall contributes more to the relationship than you, and you're going to bish because she eats your food. While she might make more than you, I would kindly suggest that you take a look at what else you can do to balance out the relationship, because if you think she's going to feel unwelcome, you're hella right. She's going to think you're selfish and ungrateful. If I were in her shoes and got this from you, I would point out that I make sure you're comfortable all the time, and the least you could do is do the same for me.